Chapter 49-39. Just as Di Beichen and the rest were waiting for the results, a series of footsteps finally came from inside. They're finally back. Lin Qianqian heaved a sigh of relief. I've been waiting for so long and there's still no news. I couldn't help but worry. Bailey Hongzhuang's lips curled up slightly and her eyes were clear and calm. Now I can rest assured. However, when they saw the situation in front of them, their faces immediately darkened. In their line of sight, Jun Lingxuan was holding Dai Heoan hostage. The dagger in his hand was placed horizontally at Dai Heoan's neck and there was blood seeping out faintly. Xiao Shou and Ao Zhengquang were walking beside him while Di Xiaofeng and the rest were following behind them with ashen faces. Jun Lingxuan, hurry up and release Haoan. Di Xiaofeng roared. His eyes were like a cold lake in October, cold and filled with killing intent. Hearing this, Jun Lingxuan sneered. As long as you let us leave here, I'll naturally release him. Otherwise, Jun Lingxuan's face became ferocious. Otherwise, we'll perish together with him. You can just wait to collect his corpse. Bailey Hongzhuang and Di Beichen couldn't help but look surprised when they saw this situation. Big brother, how did this happen? Di Beichen's obsidian-like eyes were filled with haze. They were less bright and more gloomy. There was a fork in the road ahead so we split up. We didn't expect to fall into Jun Lingxuan's trap. The people who were traveling with Haoan all died in his hands. When we arrived, he was about to kill Haoan but when he saw us appear, he held him hostage. Hearing this, Di Beichen and the rest immediately understood. Master, this Jun Lingxuan is really not easy to deal with. Baisher's eyes were filled with disgust and unwillingness. The last time they met, Jun Lingxuan and Xiao Shou were already powerless. They didn't expect an escape talisman to save them. This time, it was a sure-kill situation but they didn't expect Dai Heoan to fall into their hands. Seeing Bailey Hongzhuang and the rest again, Jun Lingxuan's eyes were filled with murderous intent. Di Beichen, Bailey Hongzhuang, what did you do to Shitao? Jun Lingxuan's eyes were sharp and sinister. He already knew the result in his heart. But if he couldn't confirm it himself, he still wouldn't believe it. Do you think Jun Shitao's alive? Under such circumstances. Di Beichen's voice was cold and indifferent. His handsome face was filled with disdain. It's ridiculous to ask such a question now. After receiving this affirmative answer, Jun Lingxuan's eyes turned red with hatred and murderous intent. He gritted his teeth and said, Di Beichen, I'll definitely kill you to comfort Shitao's soul in heaven. Then I'm afraid you don't have the ability. Di Beichen said casually. A cold smile appeared on his sharp face. Every time we meet, it's so difficult for you to escape. You want to kill me? In your next life. His cold voice was like a glacier in the extreme north. It pierced Jun Lingxuan's heart and made it bleed. Di Beichen, don't be too arrogant. Xiao Shou couldn't help but speak up. Anger appeared on her beautiful white face. You were just lucky these 2 times. The next time we meet, you'll definitely be defeated by us. Chapter 49-40. Bailey Hongzhuang stared mockingly at Xiao Shou. Her peerless face was brimming with a devilish smile. Xiao Shou's fair and pretty face instantly stiffened. Even her earth-shattering fury froze in that instant. She was like a deflated balloon, leaving only defeat and unwillingness. In the past, she had never taken Bailey Hongzhuang seriously. She only felt that this woman from the underworld was not worthy of being her opponent. However, the power that Bailey Hongzhuang had displayed the last time had given her an indescribable sense of defeat. Even now, she still had a lingering fear in her heart when she recalled that battle. Noticing the dejection in Xiao Shou's eyes, Lin Qianqian and the rest were astonished. The usually arrogant Xiao Shou had actually revealed such an expression. If they had not seen it with their own eyes, they would not have believed it. It was obvious that Xiao Shou had suffered a great setback in the hands of Bailey Hongzhuang. Bailey Hongzhuang, I have indeed underestimated you. Xiao Shou's eyes were burning as she stared at Bailey Hongzhuang. Her clear black and white eyes were filled with endless seriousness and persistence. However, this does not mean that I will definitely defeat you in the future. In the past, she had always been arrogant. Even when she had been reprimanded by her father, she still did not take it to heart. She only thought that Bailey Hongzhuang's victory had been due to luck. However, after experiencing the previous incident, her way of thinking had changed. She now regarded Bailey Hongzhuang as an enemy that she must defeat. She wanted to rely on her own strength to completely defeat Bailey Hongzhuang. Noticing Xiao Shou's persistence and ambition, a trace of astonishment flashed across her black eyes. Bailey Hongzhuang did not expect that the previous incident would cause Xiao Shou to suddenly wake up. In the next moment, an enchanting smile bloomed at the corner of Bailey Hongzhuang's mouth, with a little playfulness and a little sarcasm. I'm sorry, but I have a special characteristic. Anyone who loses to me will never have the chance to make a comeback. The slender willow leaf eyebrows were slightly raised. The deep phoenix eyes were blooming with a fierce and intimidating brilliance. Bailey Hongzhuang just stood there calmly, but her momentum was overwhelming. Don't be delusional. Don't be delusional. These words were like a sharp sword, piercing into Xiao Shou's heart fiercely. Facing that pair of bright eyes, the confidence that she had gathered before was shattered in an instant. In the face of the enemy, Bailey Hongzhuang would never be courteous. What's more, this woman, first, she wanted to deal with her man, and then she dealt with her family. No matter which point it, Xiao's had. Lin Qian, calm is Hongzhuang's s of is. They had never seen such a Bailey Hongzhuang. Usually, she was gentle and pleasant, and anyone who talked to her would feel like a spring breeze. But it wasn't until this moment that they realized that Bailey Hongzhuang was just being approachable to them. Facing the enemy, she was as sharp as a knife. Just like the cold winter, it was bone-chilling. There was no warmth at all. Second cousin-in-law is really domineering. Lin Yi's cheeks showed a trace of excitement. Her bright eyes flickered with admiration. She suddenly remembered what Bailey Hongzhuang said to Xiao Shou when they were in the underground market. It turned out that from then on, second cousin-in-law had not regarded Xiao Shou as an opponent. Chapter 49-41. Jun Lingxuan looked at the beautiful Bailey Hongzhuang in front of him, and a trace of amazement flashed across his handsome eyes. He suddenly felt that his previous judgment was somewhat wrong. This woman, even if she had no background, was still infinitely beautiful. Xiao Shou looked stunned. The other party's words directly made her speechless. Jun Lingxuan, let Haoan go. Di Beichen's eyes flashed a trace of sharpness, and his low and magnetic voice was filled with endless pressure. Jun Lingxuan unconsciously tightened his grip on the dagger, and increased his strength. Blood immediately dyed the dagger red. Unless you let us go, even if we die, he will have to be our scapegoat. Ao Zhengquang also said, this Daihaoan is the number one figure in your Di family. Are you going to sacrifice him? Hearing this, Di Beichen frowned. It was not easy to seize this opportunity to capture Jun Lingxuan and the other two, but he did not expect such an unforeseen event to occur. If they directly attacked, it would mean that they had given up on Daihaoan. It was impossible for them to do such a thing. Di Xiaofeng's expression was very ugly. Long before they entered the Immortal Cloud's secret realm, they had already set their target. As long as they found the opportunity, they would definitely get rid of Jun Lingxuan. Now that Jun Zitao had been dealt with, it would not be enough if Jun Lingxuan did not die. You don't have to worry about me. It's no big deal if I die. We must not let them go. Daihaoan's face suddenly showed a trace of fearless heroism and determination. In the next second, he directly stepped forward, intending to commit suicide. Seeing this scene, everyone could not help but be stunned. They did not expect Daiheoan to make such a decision. Jun Lingxuan was obviously shocked by Daiheoan's actions, but he still held on tightly to Daiheoan, not letting him succeed in killing himself. Haoan. Everyone's eyes turned red when they saw that Daiheoan was intending to commit suicide. All these years, Daiheoan had been busy with the family's affairs, and he was very close to everyone. At this juncture, Daiheoan was even willing to sacrifice himself for the family. How could they not be moved? However, the more Daiheoan acted like this, the more they could not bear it. Let them go this time. We can't let Haoan lose his life like this. Yes, if we miss this opportunity, we will have another chance in the future. How can we exchange our brother's life? At that moment, the Di family and Lin family's cultivators could not help but. They really could not bear of this situation. Seeing Haoan Bess's eyes of Jun Lingxian, Jun Lingxuan's Hao, and Jun Lingxuan's eyes. Jun Lingxuan, let go of Haoan. We'll let you leave. We'll let you go, Di Xiaofeng sighed, but his ink-black eyes became firm. No matter what, they could not exchange the lives of their clansmen for success. Hearing this, Jun Lingxuan's eyes flashed a trace of complacency. His voice suddenly became loud, get out of the way. We will let him go after we leave here. Are you kidding? Lin Taxing's face was serious and angry, if Haoan leaves with you, you will definitely kill him. You are not qualified to negotiate with me now. Jun Lingxuan's voice was cold and complacent, as if he had everything under control. Chapter 49-42. Haoan, don't be silly. Lin Yi couldn't help but speak up. Her sweet and gentle face was full of concern and relief, there will be plenty of opportunities to deal with them in the future. You guys, Daiheoan's eyes flashed with a trace of crystal, but he suppressed it. His gaze became exceptionally bright and warm. Seeing this, a smile appeared at the corner of everyone's lips. This may indeed be an excellent opportunity lost, but they felt it was worth it to save their loved ones. Don't be long-winded here. We are leaving now. You all stay here and don't move. Whoever dares to move, I will kill him. Jun Lingxuan's gaze was cold and chilling. The dagger in his hand was getting closer to Daiheoan. He pulled Daiheoan and walked forward. Whoever dares to follow, I will kill him immediately. Seeing this, everyone could only stop. Although their hearts were full of unwillingness, they did not dare to follow rashly. They couldn't gamble with Daiheoan's life. With Jun Lingxuan's temper, I'm afraid he won't let Haoan go. What should we do? Lin Yi couldn't help but pace back and forth. She kept rubbing her hands. Her eyebrows were full of worry and anxiety like ants on a hot pan. There is no other way now. Lin Taxing sighed. His determined young face was full of worry, once we move forward, he will notice our movements. Damn it, I didn't expect Jun Lingxuan to hold Haoan hostage. Di Xiaofeng cursed. He really didn't expect this situation. If he knew this, they wouldn't have acted separately before. Are the other people who acted with Haoan dead? Just when everyone was troubled by this, Mo Yinjue suddenly asked a question. Yes. Di Xiaofeng nodded, if we didn't happen to arrive, Haoan would be dead. Mo Yinjue's eyes, which were as deep as a black hole, quietly flashed a glimmer of light. In the blink of an eye, he quietly glanced at Bailey Hongzhuang and Di Beichen, but did not say anything. Bailey Hongzhuang naturally understood the meaning of Mo Yinjue's words. In fact, when she saw the previous hostage situation, she also had the same doubts in her heart. Wife, do you think there may be something wrong with Haoan? Di Beichen transmitted his voice to Bailey Hongzhuang. When the three of them looked at each other tacitly, he already knew it. Not only him, but Hongzhuang and Mo Yinjue also had the same idea. That's just a guess. Jiao's eyes, which were as beautiful as the autumn moon, were calm. It's just a guess at the moment. I think there is something wrong with Daiheoen's sudden suicide. Mo Yunjue transmitted his voice. This was the D family's family matter, so he shouldn't be involved. However, if there really was a spy, then it was like a tumor that could endanger the safety of Bailey Hongzhuang and the others at any time. I think so too. Bailey Hongzhuang was silent. The biggest turning point in this whole matter was Daiheoen's actions. Originally, everyone had been thinking about making a choice. However, from the moment Daiheoen chose to commit suicide, everyone's hearts were instantly moved by Daiheoen, so they chose to give up. In fact, this matter itself could be Daiheoen's true thoughts. However, they looked at it with suspicion, and it was indeed a bit strange. Chapter 49-43. Di Xiaofeng also noticed the slight change in Di Beichen's expression as he waited. He thought about Mo Yunjue's question. As the young master of the Lin family, he had been trained by the elders all these years and was a very observant person. Mo Yunjue's question didn't seem to be a problem at first, but at this time, it seemed a little strange. Therefore, he immediately guessed the guesses of Di Beichen and the others. Beichen, you suspect Haoen? Di Xiaofeng raised his eyebrows. His black eyes were as bright as the stars, as if they could see through everything. Big brother, what do you think? Di Beichen didn't answer immediately. Instead, he asked a question in return. He was different from Di Xiaofeng. Di Xiaofeng had been treating Daiheoen as a good brother all these years. They were close and had a deep relationship. He probably wouldn't think in this direction. However, he had just returned to the family not long ago. Obviously, he didn't have such concerns. Di Xiaofeng pondered for a moment. There was hesitation between his brows. It shouldn't be, right? Haoen is a disciple of the Di family. Moreover, the family has always treated him well. He shouldn't have done such a thing. Of course, we can't be sure just based on this. Ever since the incident with Di Kaiyuan, he knew that you couldn't judge a book by its cover. What you thought wasn't always right. Most of the time, it was the people you trusted the most who deceived you. According to father's judgment, what happened to you was done by the Jun family. Therefore, this spy has been hiding in the family for a long time. Haoen's age doesn't seem to match. Di Xiaofeng looked at Di Beichen. This was the biggest problem, he thought. Di Beichen's eyes changed. He said in a low voice, "There's no rush. Let's wait and see." Okay. The two brothers looked at each other. For them now, finding the spy was undoubtedly an extremely important matter. As long as this tumor was uprooted, the family would be safe and they would be at ease. A moment later, everyone rushed out, worried about Daiheoen's safety. When everyone arrived, they found Daiheoen lying in a pool of blood, while Jun Lingxuan and the other two were climbing up the abyss. This damn Jun Lingxuan! Lin Taxing cursed aloud. His handsome face turned red and the corners of his eyes almost cracked. His eyebrows were full of volcanic rage. In his line of sight, Daiheoen was stabbed in the chest by Jun Lingxuan's dagger. Blood flowed to the ground, and Daiheoen was clearly unconscious. Hongzhuang, take a look at Haoen's situation, Di Xiaofeng said. Bailey Hongzhuang immediately checked on Daiheoen's situation. Her beautiful brows furrowed, and her expression was somewhat complicated. Hongzhuang, is Haoen incurable? Lin Qianshan's expression was very ugly. She had guessed that such a thing might happen, but when it really happened, she still couldn't accept it. After all, she had a good relationship with Daiheoen over the years. Don't worry. His injury is very serious, but he can still be saved. Really? Lin Qianshan was stunned. The dagger has already pierced his heart. Can he still be saved? Young madam, aren't your medical skills too exquisite? Everyone was dumbfounded. Their faces were filled with shock. Everyone knew that once the heart was pierced, it was impossible to survive. Chapter 49-44. Wifey? Di Beichen raised his eyebrows slightly. He noticed the change in Bailey Hongzhuang's expression. He was afraid that there was something wrong. Generally speaking, if a dagger pierced his heart directly, Haoan wouldn't be able to survive. However, Hao En's heart is in a different position from ours. Because of that, the dagger didn't pierce his heart. Once she said that, everyone finally understood. Their eyes were filled with surprise and joy. I didn't expect Haoan to have such a characteristic. Lin Qianqian breathed a sigh of relief. If it wasn't for the deviation, Haoan would have died in the hands of Jun Lingxuan. I knew that a despicable and shameless guy like Jun Lingxuan wouldn't keep his word. If Haoan wasn't lucky, he would really be finished this time. I think Jun Lingxuan wouldn't have thought that it would end like this. Everyone wanted to chase after Jun Lingxuan. However, looking at the height of the abyss, they thought that by the time they climbed up, Jun Lingxuan and the other two would have escaped in an unknown direction. In the end, they chose to give up. After Bailey Hongzhuang treated Dai Haoan's injuries, Di Beichen, Di Xiaofeng, and Mo Yinjue walked to her side. Wifey, what do you think about this matter? I can't make a conclusion about this matter at the moment. Her bright eyes were filled with complexity and thought. Originally, she thought that Dai Haoan was a spy. However, what happened later made her somewhat uncertain. It's very likely that Dai Haoan knew that his body was different, so he colluded with Jun Lingxuan and the others. Only in this way would it not arouse suspicion. Mo Yinjue said in a low voice. It's indeed possible. Bailey Hongzhuang nodded slightly. However, he hit him very hard. He was only a hair's breadth away from his heart. If there's even the slightest mistake, he'll lose his life. If it's you guys, can you do it? Hearing this, Di Beichen and the other two sunk into silence. In this situation, it was indeed very difficult for them to make a judgment. After a while, Di Beichen said, if he's not a spy, then he's really been thinking for the family. If he really is a spy, then, he will be very scary. He would be terrifying. At this point, the hearts of Bailey Hongzhuang and the other two were all shocked. Indeed, if he could even be so ruthless to himself, then he was indeed a ruthless character. He was not someone that ordinary people could deal with. Based on this matter alone, we can't come to a conclusion for the time being. Why don't we take a look first? If it really is a fox, it will show its tail sooner or later. We have to be more careful. Di Xiaofeng's eyes were solemn and serious. No matter who the spy was, he would not show any mercy. This was because he would not tolerate the existence of such a person who would endanger his family. Moreover, this person caused his younger brother to wander outside for so many years. He even almost caused them to lose their lives. Dai Haoan and Ao Lingxiao were both unconscious. The Di family and the Lin family's cultivators were guarding by the side. This was the abyss. Other cultivators could come in at any time. They could only guard here to ensure their safety. Big brother, what's inside? Bailey Hongzhuang's lips curled into a faint smile. She was still very curious about this place. Chapter 49-45. Wifey, do you want to go inside and take a look? Di Beichen knew Bailey Hongzhuang very well. He could guess her thoughts even with just a glance. Bailey Hongzhuang smiled and nodded. I always feel that this place is very special. I want to go inside and see what's inside. However, since elder brother and the others have gone so far without encountering anyone, the people who used to live here should be gone. Since you want to go and take a look, then let's go in. Di Beichen showed a knowing smile to Bailey Hongzhuang. The mischievous look made his handsome face glow instantly, like the sunshine in March, warm and charming. Yeah, you can go in and take a look. Di Xiaofeng also smiled. Anyway, we won't leave here for a while. It's convenient to go in and take a look. Seeing this, Bailey Hongzhuang looked at Di Beichen with bright eyes. Her delicate and beautiful face was full of mischief and excitement. Then, shall we go in? Okay. Di Beichen stretched out his hand and gently scratched Bailey Hongzhuang's delicate nose. His smile became warmer and warmer. Let's go in and take a look too. Lin Qianqian and Lin Taxing also said. Most of the cultivators decided to stay here to guard Dai Heoan and Lin Qianqian. After all, once other cultivators appeared, it was impossible to not have enough people to protect them. Although Lin Yi also wanted to go, she decided to stay here out of guilt for Ao Lingxiao. When Di Xiaofeng saw that both Lin Qianqian and Lin Taxing wanted to go, he also chose to stay here to lead the team. Therefore, only Di Beichen, Bailey Hongzhuang, Mo Yinjue, Lin Qianqian and Lin Taxing went in together. Although there were not many people, their combat power was very strong, so everyone was relieved. The environment inside was still dim. They could only see clearly under the illumination of the light power. Hongzhuang, you are right. Someone should have lived here before. Lin Qianqian noticed that there were a few simple houses nearby, but they were covered in dust. It was obvious that the owner had left many years ago. To be able to build such a room in this abyss, this is really something. Lin Taxing sighed and looked around. In fact, he also wanted to see if there were any other gains after going deeper. However, as the crowd continued onward, they only discovered that the path was incomparably long, and they did not gain anything. This road is really long. How long do we have to walk until we reach the end? Just when everyone felt that this road seemed endless, the environment in front of them suddenly attracted their attention. This is an altar. A circular altar suddenly appeared in everyone's line of sight. Taking a closer look, he realized that half of the altar was black and the other half was white. He could vaguely feel the energy waves coming from the altar. Bailey Hongzhuang immediately discovered that the altar was filled with the two attributes of darkness and light. Suddenly, a trace of surprise appeared in her eyes, but she immediately concealed it. Di Beichen and Bailey Hongzhuang quietly looked at each other. They did not expect such an altar to appear here. It was a combination of these two attributes. It was really strange. Hey, this altar is so strange. It is a combination of light and dark attributes. How can someone make such an altar? Chapter 49-46. Lin Taxing looked curiously at the altar in front of him. The altar covered a large area and he could tell at a glance that it was a big deal. From the exquisite and complicated carvings and the mysterious and ever-changing runes, he could tell that the original owner must have put in a lot of effort to build this altar. I feel that this altar is very impressive. It seems to be more powerful than anything we've seen before. Lin Qianqian nodded slightly. I think so too. This altar looks very impressive. Bailey Hongzhuang did not say anything. Instead, she approached the altar directly. She felt that the altar seemed to have some kind of connection with them. Di Beichen also walked to the other side of the altar. After sensing the aura that was similar to his handsome eyes were filled with surprise. Look, there seems to be a switch at the very front. Mo Yinjue reminded them. Everyone turned their gazes. As expected, there was a mechanism at the very front of the altar. The mechanism also glowed with alternating black and white light. It was like a glass ball with the power of the two attributes of darkness and light lingering in it, emitting extraordinary splendor. In the next moment, Bailey Hongzhuang and Di Beichen both pressed the mechanism in tacit agreement. Ka ka ka, the sound of the shaft turning was suddenly heard. It seemed that the altar had not been opened for a long time, so it was moving very slowly. However, as time passed, the sound gradually disappeared. The black and white altar began to rotate. Everyone could clearly feel the power of the two attributes of light and darkness filling the altar. Even the space around them was completely covered by these two powers. In a short moment, Bailey Hongzhuang felt an endless amount of power enter her body. The demon summoning scripture was almost out of control, absorbing this pure power. Di Beichen's reaction was no different from Bailey Hongzhuang's. The energy here was undoubtedly a great supplement to them. After absorbing it, it would be very helpful to improve their strength. Mo Yunjue and the other two did not have the light or darkness attributes, so the rich energy here was not of much help to them. Even so, they were still able to feel the pure and shocking origin energy here. The purity of this energy seems to be extremely shocking. Lin Qianqian's eyes widened as her beautiful eyebrows twitched. Her clear eyes were filled with surprise. Lin Taxing nodded, "Just standing here and feeling the illumination of the light attribute energy makes me feel comfortable. Even if we can't improve our cultivation, we can still eliminate some of the hidden dangers in our bodies if we stay here longer." This was one of the reasons why so many people sought after the power of light. The power of light had healing properties. Not only could it heal a cultivator's injuries to a certain extent, it could also eliminate some hidden dangers. Just like on the Day of Light every year, cultivators of the light attribute would display the power of light together. At that time, all cultivators yearned for it. "How about, we go and call everyone here?" Lin Taxing's face was full of excitement. They could not enjoy such a good opportunity by themselves. Lin Qianqian nodded. "Good idea." However, at this moment, Xiao He and Xiao Bai, who were lying on White Lion's body, were suddenly attracted by a mysterious force and floated directly to the altar. Chapter 49-47. What's going on with Xiao He and Xiao Bai? Lin Qianqian was dumbfounded. This sudden turn of events was simply too shocking. "Hongzhuang, are they going to be all right?" Lin Taxing looked at Bailey Hongzhuang. His handsome face was filled with worry and concern. The opening of the altar had already shocked them greatly. Now that this inexplicable turn of events had occurred, they could not help but feel anxious. Bailey Hongzhuang was equally shocked by this sudden turn of events. She immediately tried to pull Xiao He and Xiao Bai back. However, she noticed that Xiao He and Xiao Bai's bodies were hovering above the altar. The power of darkness and light had enveloped them. It did not seem to have any intention of harming them. Only then did she calm down. In her line of sight, Xiao He was enveloped by the power of light while Xiao Bai was enveloped by the power of darkness. The two enormous forces formed two brightly colored spheres. As the energy increased, the crowd could no longer see Xiao He and Xiao Bai's faces clearly. They should be fine. Bailey Hongzhuang's red lips parted slightly. Her eyes were still fixed on the two spheres of light. She understood that this extremely pure energy did not have any harm or attack power. Therefore, this situation would only benefit Little Black and Little White, and there would not be any harm. Di Beichen was also carefully observing everything. He could vaguely sense that the altar itself seemed to have a certain connection with Xiao He and Xiao Bai. This was because the setup here was simply too similar to their situation. At this moment, Bai Long's voice suddenly rang out in Bailey Hongzhuang's mind. "Hongzhuang, I remember now." Bai Long's pleasant voice was filled with unconcealable excitement. She even began to tremble with excitement. Bailey Hongzhuang's eyes lit up when she heard this. "Bai Long, what have you remembered?" All this time, Bai Long had been in a state of amnesia. Because her past memories were sealed, she could not remember many things. During this period of time, the White Dragon had been troubled by this matter. In fact, Bailey Hongzhuang also hoped that the White Dragon would be able to recall everything as soon as possible because, only then would she be able to find out the origins of Xiao He and Xiao Bai. The Black Light Spirit and the White Light Spirit, they were created here. The white dragon's voice sounded distant and complicated. There was a hint of realization, but more than that, confusion. What did you say? Bailey Hongzhuang was stunned. Her exquisite and otherworldly face was filled with astonishment. Her slightly parted red lips were so shocked that she forgot to close them. They were created here. Not bad. The white dragon's voice was very certain. The black light spirit and the white light spirit are unique existences in this world. They were born here at the altar. I seem to have known them before. The white dragon's voice began to sound uncertain again. Yeah, why do I know them? Why is that? I have to think about it. Bai Long's voice disappeared as soon as she finished speaking. Seeing this, Bailey Hongzhuang did not pursue the matter. She understood that even if Bai Long remembered something, her sealed memories could not be completely recovered immediately. If she pursued the matter, it would only worsen Bai Long's situation. At this moment it was already very difficult for Bai Long to remember something. Wife. Di Beichen's eyes were as black as ink. They shone like obsidian as he asked Bailey Hongzhuang silently. Chapter 49-48. Bailey Hongzhuang's voice was gentle and clear. When she spoke again, she was no longer as shocked as before. Instead, she was much calmer. In fact, she already had an indescribable feeling when she saw the altar. Although the white dragon's words were very shocking, they did not raise any suspicions. A trace of astonishment flashed across Di Beichen's black eyes. Then, he calmed down again. His eyes were as calm as the deep ocean. If Xiao He and Xiao Bai were created here, then this altar should be very beneficial to them. Doesn't this mean that the owner of this abyss is Xiao He and Xiao Bai's previous owner? Di Beichen had connected all the dots in a short period of time. Xiao He and Xiao Bai had been staying in the Chaos Ring. If all of this is connected, then, Bailey Hongzhuang's gaze turned deep and serene. Just as Di Beichen had said, connecting all the dots was indeed rather complicated. She seemed to have a feeling that everything was predestined, because all of these things were really coincidental. The Chaos Ring, Xiao He, Xiao Bai. Bailey Hongzhuang mumbled to herself. Her eyes suddenly became clear. What I've received is the inheritance of the original owner. Di Beichen nodded when he heard this. That's right. This is the only way to explain all of this. The Chaos Ring is so powerful. The owner who created it must be an extremely powerful existence. Bailey Hongzhuang's heart was filled with reverence at this moment. Ever since she had entered this abyss, she had always felt a sense of reverence and familiarity in her heart. At this moment, she finally understood that this was the real reason. As Xiao He and Xiao Bai's bodies were completely enveloped, they finally formed two gigantic spheres. Then, the two spheres' powers began to merge. More powers appeared in the altar, enveloping Xiao He and Xiao Bai as one. Black and white powers intertwined, forming a state of, you are me and you are me. Lin Qianqian and the others watched this scene in confusion and curiosity. They did not expect this sudden discovery to cause Xiao He and Xiao Bai to undergo such changes. Didn't they say that the light and dark attributes are incompatible? What's going on? Lin Qianqian's head was filled with questions. This situation was beyond her understanding. Perhaps our understanding has always been wrong. Actually, the power of darkness and light power are not mutually exclusive, Lin Taxing said in deep thought. Mo Yinjue just stared fixedly at the changes in Xiao He and Xiao Bai. His deep black eyes were filled with waves of light, as dazzling as the stars. After Xiao He and Xiao Bai are baptized by this altar, they might have a great improvement. It's even possible that they have two different attributes. He also had some understanding of Di Beichen and Bailey Hongzhuang's situation. When he first learned of this, he was a little surprised. However, now that he linked Xiao He and Xiao Bai's situation together, he guessed this possibility. Perhaps it was because many miraculous things had happened around him, but he did not find it strange. Hearing Mo Yunjue's words, Bailey Hongzhuang and Di Beichen's eyes flashed. If this was really the case, then it was really good news. Chapter 49-49. A huge ball of attributes appeared above the altar, and the dense energy completely filled the entire area. Lin Qianqian and Lin Taxing, who had originally wanted to call everyone over, did not leave because of the sudden change. Such a scene was not something that could be seen on a normal day. They only felt that everything was special and mysterious. They also wanted to know what changes would happen to Xiao He and Xiao Bai after this situation. However, this process was obviously slow. Seeing this, Bailey Hongzhuang was not in a hurry. Instead, she sat down to cultivate with peace of mind. She was originally a little worried, but since Xiao He and Xiao Bai were created here, she was completely at ease. Obviously, there would not be any situation that would be disadvantageous to Xiao He and Xiao Bai here. On the contrary, cultivating here was very helpful for her to improve her strength. Naturally, she wanted to take advantage of this opportunity to improve herself. Di Beichen and Mo Yinjue also sat down to cultivate. Obviously, this altar was the biggest gain in this abyss. There was nothing further inside, so it was better to cultivate here with peace of mind. Even if Mo Yinjue did not have these two attributes, bathing in the power of light would be of great help to him. After seeing this scene, Lin Qianqian and Lin Taxing looked at each other and decided to call everyone over together. After all, staying here was safer than staying outside, and there were more benefits. Therefore, after saying goodbye, Lin Qianqian and Lin Taxing left. Not long after, Bailey Hongzhuang suddenly opened her eyes because she felt that Xiao He and Xiao Bai had woken up. As the owner, she and Xiao He had a telepathic connection. She already knew from the moment Xiao He woke up. A joyful smile appeared on her elegant and otherworldly face. It was as charming and dazzling as an epiphyllum, and a trace of crystal flashed in her clear eyes. Ever since she knew that Xiao He had chosen to self-destruct for her, she had been thinking about it. She only hoped that Xiao He could get better soon. Although she did not see the scene with her own eyes, she was shocked. Every time she thought about it, her heart was filled with an indescribable feeling. Therefore, she must kill Jun Lingxuan and the others to avenge Xiao He. Xiao He. Bailey Hongzhuang tried to communicate with Xiao He through sound, but did not receive any response. She understood that it was probably because of the altar. When Di Xiaofeng and the others arrived near the altar and saw this scene, everyone's faces were filled with shock. I didn't expect there to be such an altar here. It's really amazing. It seems that this is an opportunity for Xiao He and Xiao Bai. Di Xiaofeng smiled faintly. It seems that this is an opportunity for Xiao He and Xiao Bai. Di Beichen nodded, yes, I don't know when Xiao He and Xiao Bai's injuries will recover. Now with this altar, the recovery speed is greatly accelerated. Lin Yi couldn't help but look at Ao Lingxiao and Daiheoan, who were still in a coma. It's a pity that they don't have light or dark attributes. Otherwise, with this altar, they may be able to recover quickly. Listening to Lin Yi's words, Lin Taxing couldn't help but chuckle. You don't have to worry too much. With Hongzhuang here, they will be fine. Moreover, with the influence of this light power, it is also good for them. N. Lin Yi nodded, I believe in second cousin-in-law's medical skills, but I feel a little guilty. Chapter 49-50. 3 days later, the energy surrounding Xiao He and Xiao Bai finally dissipated. Master. Xiao He and Xiao Bai rushed to Bailey Hongzhuang and Di Beichen as soon as they left the altar. Their chubby little faces were filled with bright smiles, as warm and dazzling as sunflowers. Xiao He. Bailey Hongzhuang's face bloomed with an incomparably joyful smile. She reached out and pulled Xiao He into her arms. She felt a sense of satisfaction when she felt the warm and fuzzy sensation. If Xiao Bai had not appeared at that time, she would probably never have seen Xiao He again. This feeling of regaining what she had lost made her unable to control herself. Master. Xiao He smiled brightly, but her eyes were glistening. I was so worried that I would never see you again. If you're worried about this, then don't do such foolish things again. Bailey Hongzhuang rubbed Xiao He's head. No matter what, don't even think about leaving me. You can only follow me for the rest of your life. Hearing Bailey Hongzhuang's domineering and heartless words, Xiao He's eyes became moist. Sparkling tears flowed down uncontrollably, but the smile on her face became even more radiant. That's right. Xiao He will follow Master for the rest of her life. Bailey Hongzhuang turned to look at Xiao Bai. Xiao Bai's personality was much calmer than Xiao He's. Moreover, Di Beichen was a man, so he naturally would not be so emotional. However, she could still feel his strong warmth. Xiao Bai. Bailey Hongzhuang carried Xiao Bai over. Both of you must take care of yourselves in the future. Xiao Bai smiled and nodded. She rubbed her head against Bailey Hongzhuang and said, Mistress, it's good to see you again. White Lion also came over. When he saw Xiao He and Xiao Bai jumping around, he knew that they were fine. He immediately said with a smile, You're finally fine. I'm dying of exhaustion from carrying the two of you every day. Xiao He and Xiao Bai exchanged glances when they heard Bai Shi's disdainful words. Xiao He immediately leaped onto Bai Shi and rolled around on him. She said, Bai Shi, stop being so stubborn. I remember the situation clearly. Who was the one who was so emotional at that time? It's no use pretending to be disgusted now. White Lion, I just realized how much you care about me. Xiao He chuckled, looking full of pride. But I'm so charming. It's normal for you to like me. Looking at Xiao He and Xiao Bai's smug looks, White Lion suddenly rolled his eyes. You two should go to sleep. No. Xiao He shook her head. It's too late. Come on. Let me kiss you. Ha ha ha. Master. White Lion cast a pleading look at Bailey Hongzhuang. Bailey Hongzhuang just smiled and spread her hands, giving him a good luck expression. She knew very well that White Lion just didn't like to express it on the surface. In fact, his feelings for Xiao He and Xiao Bai were really deep. After Lin Yi and others saw that Xiao He and Xiao Bai had completely recovered, their faces showed joy. They woke up. That's great. Lin Yi walked over quickly. She had always been envious of Bailey Hongzhuang's contract beasts. Not to mention the strength of these three contracted beasts, just their appearance alone was more than just a little cute. Their furry appearance directly melted her maiden heart. Chapter 49-51. Xiao He and Xiao Bai also looked at Lin Yi with a smile. Lin Yi looked at the two beasts. After a moment of concern, she sat down beside Bai Shi habitually. Bai Shi, we haven't seen each other for a while. Did you miss me? Lin Yi reached out and touched Bai Shi's soft and smooth hair. She only thought that it felt really good. It must be very comfortable to sleep with it. Bai Shi just looked at Lin Yi calmly. There was a trace of helplessness in the depths of his eyes. Bailey Hongzhuang couldn't help but look at Di Beichen when she saw this. She transmitted her voice, I'm really looking forward to Yi's reaction after Bai Shi turns into a human. I'm also looking forward to it. Di Beichen's lips curled into a playful arc. He looked at Lin Yi with a spurious smile, I'm very willing to watch the show with my wife. Bailey Hongzhuang narrowed her eyes, you are so bad. I learned from my wife. I'm influenced by my company. Di Beichen nodded very naturally. Nonsense. Bailey Hongzhuang's eyes widened. I obviously learned from you. Okay, whatever my wife says. Di Beichen nodded with an expression that said, you are willful and mischievous, but I love you so much. Then, he said, this is called influenced by the company one keeps. You, Bailey Hongzhuang puffed up her cheeks. Facing such a talkative husband, she still had to think about how to deal with it. However, the bickering appearance of the two was a show of affection in the eyes of everyone. You too, aren't you embarrassed to show affection so blatantly in broad daylight? Di Xiaofeng raised his eyebrows and said to everyone, look, these two guys are obviously deliberately provoking us, a group of bachelors. As soon as these words came out, all the cultivators present also nodded, yeah, they are so bad. Punishment, punishment. He must be punished. Lin Taxing walked to Di Beichen's side and said, we've been in the Immortal Cloud's secret realm for a long time and haven't eaten anything. It's boring. Why don't we leave dinner to Beichen and the others? I've heard that Hongzhuang's culinary skills are amazing. I've been drooling for a long time. Lin Qianqian's eyes lit up. You don't know, but Xiaofeng praised Hongzhuang's culinary skills to the skies. I really want to try it. What do you think of my proposal? Lin Taxing smiled brightly. It's a good opportunity to celebrate the recovery of Xiao He and Xiao Bai. All right. After going through so many things together, everyone had already become very close. Even if they were to cause a ruckus at this moment, it was still filled with joy and laughter. Seeing this, Di Beichen turned to look at Bailey Hongzhuang and said innocently, wife, this has aroused public indignation. Bailey Hongzhuang laughed involuntarily and said, well, just enough to satisfy the two gluttons Xiao He and Xiao Bai. Hooray! Xiao He and Xiao Bai smiled and squinted their eyes like crescent moons. Their round faces looked even cuter, making people want to pinch them hard. In fact, Lin Yi and Lin Qianqian did just that. After making the decision, Bailey Hongzhuang began to prepare dinner. Although everyone joked about letting Bailey Hongzhuang and Xiao Bai prepare, in the end, it was still a group of women who did the preparations. After such a commotion, the haze that lingered in everyone's hearts these days had completely dissipated. Even though they had already escaped from the ruins, the lingering fear was still obvious. Chapter 49-52. The meal cooked by Bailey Hongzhuang was naturally delicious. Even if there were not enough ingredients, the taste was still excellent. For a time, everyone was also full of praise. Ao Lingxiao, who was in a coma, only smelled a strong fragrance, then he slowly opened his eyes. When he saw that everyone had gathered together and was eating, his expression was a little confused at first. Then, he understood and his eyes lit up. Lin Yi was naturally the first person to notice Ao Lingxiao's awakening. Her pretty face was full of surprise, and she quickly went to Ao Lingxiao's side. Ao Lingxiao, are you awake? How do you feel? Do you feel uncomfortable anywhere? Facing Lin Yi's series of concerns and questions, Ao Lingxiao was still a little confused. He just nodded in a daze, as if he didn't understand why Lin Yi would care so much about him. I'm much better. Hearing this, Lin Yi breathed a sigh of relief, then I'm relieved. Bailey Hongzhuang and others noticed Ao Lingxiao's blank look after waking up. They suddenly found it very interesting. Ling Xiao, I heard from Yi that you suffered such serious injuries in order to save her. I thank you on behalf of Yi. Lin Taxing stood up. His eyes were sincere and magnanimous. In the future, your business is our business. Yes, if it weren't for Yi this time, you wouldn't have suffered such serious injuries. We all had some misunderstandings about you before, but we now understand your character. We will definitely unite with you for the Ao family's matter. Lin Qianqian's voice was crisp and heroic. She looked like a heroine. Ao Lingxiao obviously didn't expect that everyone's attitude toward him would change so much after he woke up. He was a little stunned, but he was more surprised. Thinking back to the time when they were on the flying artifact, although everyone protected him, it was because of Di Beichen's face. In fact, their hearts were full of doubts about him. However, looking at everyone's expression at this moment, he knew that everyone really recognized him from the bottom of their hearts. This was what made him the happiest. Actually, Ao Jun Kwang came for me. It's just that Miss Lin was implicated. I should feel sorry. Ao Ling Xiao said with an apologetic expression. Lin Yi waved her hand quickly. If I wasn't discovered by them, you could have kept running. Anyway, your business will be my business in the future. Ao Ling Xiao looked at Lin Yi in a daze. He wanted to say something, but he didn't know what to say. Seeing this, Di Beichen couldn't help but smile. Ling Xiao, it's normal for Yi to want to repay your kindness. Don't reject her. After all, we're teammates. Lin Yi nodded, yes. Alright then. Ao Ling Xiao finally relented. Bailey Hongzhuang walked to Ao Ling Xiao's side and placed her white fingers on his wrist. After checking his pulse, she said, your body is very weak. Chapter 49-53. That's right. Just focus on recuperating. In an instant, the cultivators from both the Di clan and the Lin clan told Ao Ling Xiao to relax. This kind of warmth and care made Ao Ling Xiao feel an indescribable feeling in his heart. It was so warm that his eyes felt a little sour. He thought that he was going to die this time and would never have the chance to take revenge. He didn't expect that not only would he survive, but there would also be so many people who understood him. Ever since he was accused of a groundless crime, he had become a scum that everyone despised. Now, there were so many people who understood him. This feeling was undoubtedly very joyous. Compared to anything else, understanding was what he needed the most. Oh right, Ling Xiao. Did you see Xiren and Yingying on your way here? Di Beichen asked. Until now, they still didn't have any news about Xiren and Yingying. Ao Ling Xiao shook his head. No. I didn't meet many cultivators on my way here. I didn't know most of them. Plus, I was worried that the Ao family would catch up with me, so I was very careful and avoided the crowd. Understood. Di Beichen understood. You must have been tired during this period. Rest well. When we get out, you won't have to hide like before. Hearing this, Ao Ling Xiao looked deeply at Di Beichen. A trace of clarity appeared between his eyebrows. It was as if the haze that had been hanging over him for such a long time was finally dispelled by the sun. His entire person became bright and beautiful. It's all thanks to you guys. After everyone started to rest, Bailey Hongzhuang and Di Beichen looked at Xiao He and Xiao Bai. However, before they could ask, Xiao He and Xiao Bai quickly explained. Master, we finally remembered something. It turns out that we forgot a lot of things. Xiao He's eyes shone with excitement. This is actually our original master's residence. Hearing this, Bailey Hongzhuang's eyes lit up. So it's really like this? Master, why do you seem to have known all along? Xiao Bai was a little surprised. They hadn't said anything before. The white dragon has already told me. Bailey Hongzhuang smiled faintly. The white dragon said that it knew you before, and you were created here by your former master. I see. A smile appeared on Xiao He's face. However, we haven't recalled everything yet. We only know a part of it. Only by finding the inheritance of the original owner will we be able to recall everything. The legacy of the original owner? Di Beichen frowned. Is this just a residence? That's right, Xiao Bai replied. In the next moment, Bailey Hongzhuang took out the black stone and said, do you know what this is? Ever since the last time she went to the light attribute ruins, she had always felt that it was very strange. She didn't understand why the stone had some connection with the ruins, but then it wasn't completely connected. This is the key to the legacy of the original owner, Xiao Bai said with a smile. Then why did we sense it when we were there? We're not too sure about this. It seems that the ruins are also related to the original owner, but we're not too sure what the connection is. Xiao He spread out her hands. Her expression was full of helplessness. Chapter 49-54. Is your master the same person? Di Beichen suddenly asked. His deep eyes flashed with a bright luster, revealing wisdom and sincerity. They should be two people, right? Bailey Hongzhuang looked at Di Beichen in astonishment, not understanding why Di Beichen would ask such a question. Master, you're so smart. Xiao Bai looked at Di Beichen in amazement. That's right, we have two masters. After receiving this confirmation, Di Beichen nodded and looked at Bailey Hongzhuang's puzzled eyes and explained. Previously, I also thought that Xiao He and Xiao Bai only have one master. However, ever since Xiao Bai acknowledged me as her master, I don't think that's the case. If there's only one master, they won't acknowledge two masters separately. Furthermore, this place is filled with the aura of light and darkness, which means that these two masters have these two attributes respectively. Furthermore, they should be a pair of lovers. Bailey Hongzhuang's eyes lit up when she heard this. Now that you've analyzed it, everything can be linked together. However, I'm reminded of your master. I also have the same guess. Di Beichen gave her a knowing look. If that's really the case, then it's really predestined. Master, the one you met in the lower realm was the male master. Xiao Bai looked at Di Beichen. The reason why I acknowledged you as my master is also because you've received the male master's approval. As expected. Di Beichen was secretly surprised. He didn't think that everything had so much to do with each other. It was just that they didn't think too much about it in the past. Indeed, everything is predestined. Bailey Hongzhuang suddenly understood and said, could it be that your mistress was the former Holy Maiden of Light? According to what she knew, the Holy Maiden of Light had not appeared for many years. Ever since the disappearance of the previous generation's saintess, the light inheritance had been affected. Most of the inheritance had disappeared, so even though the influence of the light sacred assembly was still there, its strength was not as strong as before. The power of light was praised, but the power of darkness was rejected by everyone. Who would have thought that two people with completely different statuses would actually fall in love with each other? Just thinking about it, one could understand how tragic the situation was at that time. For a time, Bailey Hongzhuang also understood why they chose to live in this abyss. Although the environment of the abyss was dark and did not suit their liking, it should be a place full of love for them. At the very least, in this place, they were able to let go of everything and be with each other. That's right. A hint of sadness flashed across Xiao Hei's eyes. The two original owners had a difficult life back then. In the end, they couldn't live together. Bailey Hongzhuang sighed faintly. Her mind suddenly recalled the ill-fated relationship that her male master had mentioned when she first met him in the training grounds. At that time, she didn't understand why he had said those words. Until now, she suddenly understood. Thinking about it, He Shinjun must have been extremely shocked when he saw that she was a light attribute cultivator. It felt as if their situation had happened again. Chapter 49-55. Even after so many years, the dark attribute was still rejected by everyone. The situation did not change. Thinking back, when his master gave him this important task, he knew that it would not be easy to change everyone's opinion. Bailey Hongzhuang smiled and shook her head. Her delicate face was filled with confidence and charming brilliance. I am not the saintess of light. This kind of thing will not happen to us. Moreover, even if I am, so what? Bailey Hongzhuang raised her eyebrows and her lips curved into a mischievous smile. With her character, she always did whatever she wanted to do. Since when was she restrained by others? Even if she became the saintess of light, those people would not be able to control her. Therefore, she did not think that this was an ill-fated relationship. Instead, she thought that this was an opportunity. Perhaps the heavens felt that it was unfair for the two original owners. That was why everything happened again. It was to let everyone understand that what they did in the past was wrong. We will help them fulfill their wishes. Looking at Bailey Hongzhuang's confident look, Di Beichen's eyes were filled with splendor. His heart was filled with joy. At the next moment, he held Bailey Hongzhuang's little hand tightly. The smile on his lips became brighter and brighter. That's right. We will change everyone's opinion. Bailey Hongzhuang stared at Di Beichen. Her eyes were serious and clear. No matter what, you can't let go of my hand. Wife, even if you want to escape, I will not give you the chance. You can only stay by my side. Di Beichen's eyes suddenly became affectionate. After being together with Bailey Hongzhuang for so long, they had experienced too much. There was nothing that could separate them anymore. The four beasts saw their two masters showing off their affection and quietly left. At this time, it was better to let their two masters be alone. Although Xiao He and Xiao Bai did not continue to stay in the altar, the energy here was still very beneficial to everyone. With the help of the dense elemental energy, Bailey Hongzhuang successfully broke through another level, reaching Star Light Realm level 9. This improvement made her extremely happy. If it were any other time, it would have taken her a long time to break through to level 3. However, she had only been in the Immortal Cloud secret realm for a short period of time, yet she had already improved so much. Although the risks were not small, her improvement was simply too fast. Di Beichen's cultivation had also improved. Needless to say, Xiao He and Xiao Bai's cultivation had improved greatly when they were in the altar. They were no longer the same as before. The White Lion wanted to break through to the nebula realm and transform into a human form. However, to a demonic beast, breaking through to the nebula realm was a hurdle in itself. Therefore, he was the only one who had yet to break through. Chapter 49-56. Even if Ao Lingxiao and Lin Yi's injuries were not fully healed, it was nothing to slow down their movement speed. However, everyone still took good care of them. After everyone left the abyss, they continued to move forward. Bailey Hongzhuang deliberately went in the direction pointed by the stone. This Immortal Cloud secret realm only opened once every 10 years. Once they missed this opportunity, they would have to wait for another 10 years to come again. Therefore, she had to find it this time. According to Xiao He and Xiao Bai, the former identities of the two original owners were very unusual. Their inheritance did not seem to be as simple as the inheritance they encountered on ordinary days. However, they had to find out all this by themselves. After walking for 3 days, everyone did not find any figure. They felt a little helpless. In this regard, everyone also understood that the location of this abyss was not far from the original light ruins. In addition, they had stayed down for 10 days. Presumably, most of the cultivators were already far away from here. I'm the one who dragged you all down. Ao Lingxiao naturally felt the helplessness in the hearts of many cultivators, and he felt apologetic. If it weren't for him, everyone would not encounter such a thing in the abyss. Naturally, they would not be delayed for so long. Ling Xiao, don't think so much. Di Beichen said slowly, we have gained enough under the abyss. Ao Ling Xiao raised his head and saw Di Beichen's eyes were bright and spirited. His warm words unconsciously gave people a sense of relief. Yeah, I'm the one who dragged you down. If you feel so guilty, what should I do? Lin Yi smiled and looked at everyone apologetically. I'm the one who dragged everyone down. We're a family. Don't be so polite. Di Xiaofeng chuckled. Beichen is right. Think about those immortal spirit grass. What's the point of wasting some time? As soon as these words came out, the atmosphere suddenly became lively again. The previous worries were swept away. Indeed, the immortal spirit grass they harvested was enough to offset everything. Daiheowen's eyes dimmed. My storage ring was snatched away by Jun Lingxuan. It's expected. Haowen, don't think too much about it. Di Xiaofeng comforted. Bailey Hongzhuang and Di Beichen looked at each other. This was within their expectations. No matter who it was, after killing someone, they would definitely take the other person's storage ring. After all, the cultivators who appeared in the Immortal Cloud's secret realm were all of high status. Even if they could not obtain the inheritance of the other party's clan, they would still be able to obtain the benefits that the other party obtained in the Immortal Cloud's secret realm. It was just that once the seed of doubt was planted in their hearts, they would think more about it. Back when we got the immortal herbs, we should have kept all of them, Di Xiaofeng sighed. Daiheowen also picked quite a few immortal herbs. At the thought of these immortal herbs falling into Jun Lingxuan's hands, he felt a wave of displeasure. One had to know that the effects of this immortal spirit grass were not small. Even if it was only a single stalk, it could be refined into a pill that would be of great help to the clan's disciples. He would rather these immortal herbs fall into the hands of others than to benefit Jun Lingxuan. Looking at Di Xiaofeng's depressed look, Bailey Hongzhuang smiled and said, "Big brother, don't be too depressed." Chapter 49-57. As Bailey Hongzhuang finished speaking, Di Xiaofeng was stunned for a moment before he smiled. "Sister-in-law, your logic is right. Now that I think about it, I feel much better. As long as we are still in the Immortal Cloud's secret realm, we still have a chance to take back the immortal spiritual herb." Ao Lingxiao also looked at Bailey Hongzhuang gratefully. He didn't expect that the other party would give the credit to him. In the next few days, they did not meet anyone. However, Ao Lingxiao and Daiheowen had completely recovered their mobility during this period of time and were no longer affected by the immortal spiritual herb. On this day, they finally met the cultivators of the other teams. When they saw Bailey Hongzhuang and the others, a trace of surprise appeared in their eyes. Then, it turned into joy and desire. Di Xiaofeng originally wanted to greet the other party, but the other party directly avoided him and continued to follow them at a distance not far from them. After meeting the first group of people, Di Beichen and the others already felt that it was very strange. Then, they met a few more teams and found that these teams had the same reaction. They immediately felt that something was wrong. "Xiaofeng, why do I feel that everyone is looking at us strangely? They seem to be whispering something, but I can't hear them clearly." Lin Qianshan frowned. She hated this kind of situation the most. It was as if everyone knew what was going on, but she was the only one in the dark. "I also feel that the reactions of these teams are very strange. Also, didn't you notice that they have been following us?" Lin Taxing's expression was grave and serious. His intuition told him that something must have happened. Otherwise, everyone would not have such a reaction. "I noticed it too. I wanted to go to them to find out more, but when I got close, they retreated a distance away." Di Xiaofeng's expression was very ugly. He had already noticed this situation and wanted to find out more, but the other party did not give him a chance. "Xiao Bai, go and find out," Di Beichen said. Xiao He and Xiao Bai were the best at gathering information. However, Xiao He had been discovered the last time she went to gather information. Presumably, she still had lingering fears, so Di Beichen decided to send Xiao Bai over. "Master, I'll go with Xiao Bai." Xiao He saw Bailey Hongzhuang. "Don't worry, we'll be careful this time. Last time, it was careless and fell into Jun Lingxuan's trap. But this time, it wouldn't be the same. Seeing Xiao Hei's confident look, Bailey Hongzhuang smiled and nodded. Go ahead. In the next second, Xiao Hei and Xiao Bai shrank their bodies and slowly moved closer. At the same time, Bailey Hongzhuang and the others sat down to rest. Anyway, they understood that as long as they did not leave, the other teams would not leave either. At this time, they paid attention to the other teams and could also distract them, preventing Xiao Hei and Xiao Bai from being noticed. Do you think Jun Lingxuan's news is true? Do they really have immortal spirit herbs? I think Jun Lingxuan was very serious when he said it. It didn't seem like he was lying. It's just that Di Xiaofeng and the others don't seem to know what happened. Chapter 49-58. Xiao Hei and Xiao Bai's faces turned ugly when they heard the crowd's conversation. They never thought that Jun Lingxuan would be so shameless that he would use such an evil move. After circling around the three teams, they realized that each team was following them because of this matter. Bailey Hongzhuang kept guessing the reason why the crowd was following them. When Xiao Hei and Xiao Bai returned, the crowd hurriedly asked, "Did you find out?" "Master, that Jun Lingxuan is simply too despicable." Xiao Hei's face was filled with hatred, wishing that she could crush Jun Lingxuan into meat paste. He's spreading the news that we have immortal spiritual herbs on us. These people are all after the immortal spiritual herbs. I knew it would be like this. Di Xiaofeng could not help but stomp his foot. His handsome face was filled with anger. This guy obviously knows that he can't beat us, so he wants to get others to do it for him. He's truly despicable and shameless. Then what should we do? The temptation of immortal spiritual herbs is simply too great. Ordinary cultivators can't resist it at all. Look at how these people have been following us. They definitely won't give up. Lin Qianqian could not help but feel anxious. She was all too clear about the attraction of immortal spiritual herbs. No matter which cultivator it was, they all hoped that their aptitude would be raised. An increase in aptitude was much more attractive than an increase in strength. This was because once one's aptitude was raised, it meant that there would be more room for improvement in the future. It also meant that there were endless possibilities. Hence, even if an immortal spiritual herb appeared on a normal day, it would cause everyone to fight over it. Furthermore, it was obvious that Jun Lingxuan would definitely exaggerate the number of immortal spiritual herbs in order to get everyone to gang up on him. After Bailey Hongzhuang heard this news, a trace of haze appeared on her fair face. It was not that she had never encountered such a method before, but she had to admit that this method was extremely effective. The number of cultivators that the Jun family brought into the Immortal Cloud secret realm could not be compared to theirs. Even if the Xiao family and the Ao family were included, the number still could not be compared. Therefore, this method was the most helpful to them. It seems that this matter is indeed a little tricky. Bailey Hongzhuang's face darkened slightly as she looked up at Di Beichen. We have to think of a way. Di Beichen nodded slightly. The most important thing for us now is to figure out how Jun Lingxuan spread the news. Only when we know his specific statement can we come up with a rebuttal. In my opinion, we should first think of a way to shake off these three teams. With them following us, our whereabouts will soon be known by others. Chapter 49-59. After making the decision, the group didn't delay and immediately started to move. Obviously, directly leaving wouldn't work. These people would try to find a way to follow them and they couldn't get rid of them. Thinking about this, Di Xiaofeng led the group and pretended to talk to them to get information. When the other party saw Di Xiaofeng approaching, they all frowned. Before they had enough strength, they obviously didn't want to fight with the Di family. Therefore, the first thing they wanted to do was retreat and leave. However, Di Di Xiaofeng obviously didn't plan on letting them leave. He immediately sped up and chased after them. Are you disciples of the Cloud Sky sect? Di Xiaofeng's face had a warm and polite smile. The sun shined on his body, making him look even more charming. Yes, I am Qiu Baixin of the Cloud Sky sect. Qiu Baixin's face had a flash of awkwardness, but he quickly recovered. So it's young Master Qiu. Di Xiaofeng's smile became warmer. I have something to ask young Master Qiu. I hope young Master Qiu can tell me. Young Master Di, please speak. These days, I've noticed that you've been keeping a certain distance from us, but you don't want to travel with us. Why is that? Although he already knew, Di Xiaofeng's face was still full of doubts. Qiu Baixin froze for a moment, then smiled. Actually, I have always admired young Master Di. It's rare to meet young Master Di, so I wanted to take this opportunity to get close to Yifan. It's just that I'm naturally shy, so I'm acting like this. I hope young Master Di won't laugh at me. Listening to the other party's lies, Di Xiaofeng could only pretend to be surprised. It's my honor to meet young Master Qiu. Di Xiaofeng's smile was like the sun. In just a few words, he had already closed the distance between the two sides. Just a few words of praise made Qiu Baixin extremely happy. Seeing this, Bailey Hongzhuang and Di Xiaoqing looked at each other and smiled. They had to admit that Di Xiaofeng's skills in this area were extremely good. Just when Qiu Baixin and the others let down their guard, Di Xiaofeng said, Young Master Qiu, I want to ask you something. Have you met Jun Lingxuan and the others? The moment those words came out, all the cultivators of the Cloud Sky sect were stunned. Qiu Baixin's eyes flashed with cunning. He didn't answer Di Xiaofeng's question right away but asked, why does young Master Di want to see them? I'm sure that young Master Qiu is already aware of the grudges between us and the Jun family. To be honest, we had a conflict with them a while ago. With that, Di Xiaofeng sighed again. Jun Lingxuan is really despicable. He kidnapped my family's disciples and took away our things. Naturally, we have to get them back. When the Cloud Sky sect disciples heard the word thing, their eyes lit up. Young Master Di, may I know what you are talking about? Qiu Baixin asked. It's just something we got from the Celestial Cloud secret realm. Di Xiaofeng faintly smiled and purposely changed the topic. He clearly didn't want to talk about what it was. Seeing how Di Xiaofeng was trying to cover it up, Qiu Baixin was even more convinced. He immediately asked, may I know what young Master Di is talking about? Is it the immortal spirit grass? Chapter 4960. A variety of expressions appeared on Di Xiaofeng's face. Shock, doubt, disbelief. In the end, he just stared blankly at Qiu Baixin. Clearly, he had not thought of how to answer. After seeing Di Xiaofeng's expression, the cultivators of the Cloud Sky sect no longer had any doubts. They really did have the immortal spirit grass. How did you know? Di Xiaofeng couldn't help but ask. Qiu Baixin and the others looked at each other and finally said, Young Master Di, to be honest, Jun Lingxuan has already spread the news that you have the immortal spirit grass. Now, many teams already know about this and are thinking of coming to find you. However, after hearing this, Di Xiaofeng's face suddenly became angry. What did you say? Jun Lingxuan is actually making false accusations. Young Master Di, since things have already come to this, you don't have to pretend anymore. Qiu Baixin glanced at Di Xiaofeng. It was obvious that he had already confirmed the truth. I'm sure that most cultivators already know about this. I advise you to make early plans. Young Master Qiu, I'm not pretending. Di Xiaofeng's expression became serious and serious. Indeed, we did get the immortal spirit grass before. However, the immortal spirit grass has already fallen into Jun Lingxuan's hands. Now, we want to find Jun Lingshuan to get the immortal spirit grass back. I didn't expect him to slander us. That's right, Jun Lingshuan is too despicable. How can he be so despicable? Lin Qianqian's face was also filled with indignation. I already knew that Jun Lingshuan wasn't a good person. I didn't expect him to spread the news of the immortal spirit grass. He is really thoughtful. Lin Taxing coldly snorted, I'm afraid we can't explain ourselves in this situation. Seeing the angry expressions of the cultivators of the Di family and Lin family, the people of the Cloud Sky sect didn't take it to heart. After all, no matter who had such a treasure, they wouldn't be willing to let others know. It was normal for them to put on an act. Di Xiaofeng also saw that the other party didn't believe him and immediately said, Don't you believe us? Young Master Di, it's not that we don't believe you, but we have to show some evidence. Xiu Baixin had a faint smile on his face. His expression was calm, and his meaning was obvious. Of course we have evidence. Di Xiaofeng's expression was serious, with a hint of unwillingness and anger. He continued, presumably, the reason why those teams have been following us these days is also because of this, right? Why don't we invite them here and talk about this? Xiu Baixin and the others were surprised when they saw Di Xiaofeng's serious expression. Logically speaking, Di Xiaofeng shouldn't be able to defend himself. Why did it seem like he really had evidence? Young Master Di, you have to think this through. If you really think this way, then I'll ask the cultivators from those teams to come here together. Go and look for them. If I don't make things clear today, I won't be happy. Di Xiaofeng's face was full of anger. This Jun Lingshuan has slandered me countless times over the years. This time, I won't let him slander me again. Chapter 49-61. Soon, the cultivators of the Cloud Sky sect invited all the cultivators of the nearby groups over. Everyone's eyes fell on Di Xiaofeng and the others, waiting for them to give an explanation. Mr. Di, we are all here. Now you can explain it. Xiu Baixin said with a smile. Okay. Di Xiaofeng nodded and looked at everyone present. I don't know what Jun Lingshuan said before. However, everything I said now is the truth. We did see the immortal spirit grass in the abyss before, so we picked it. Then, we saw that Ao Lingxiao and Lin Yi were seriously injured by Jun Lingshuan and others, so we chased after them. We didn't expect that Daiheoan was held hostage by Jun Lingshuan. We had no choice but to let him leave. Not only that, he also asked us to give him the immortal spirit grass. Although we were very unwilling, it was not as important as the lives of our loved ones, so we agreed. We wanted to find Jun Lingshuan after we came out and ask for the immortal spirit grass back. In our opinion, their strength is not comparable to us. It is still possible to take it back. Lin Taxing also said. Mr. D, although what you said is reasonable, giving up so many immortal spirit grass just for a family member, isn't this transaction too uneconomical? A cultivator raised his eyebrows. This immortal spirit grass was a rare treasure. Generally speaking, although the lives of the family members were important, compared with such a treasure, it was not so important. What's more, this was not just an immortal spirit grass. I know what you think, but our family has always valued the lives of our children very much. Di Xiaofeng's expression was natural, and his voice was firm. He did not show the slightest guilty conscience because of the other party's questioning. What's more, the reason why we made such a decision is that we are sure to find Jun Lingshuan and others. Facing such a Di Xiaofeng, a strange feeling flashed in everyone's heart. In this era where treasures were more important than life, it was quite touching that the Di family could make such a choice. If you don't believe me, you can take a look at the wounds on Hao En's body. There are still some traces left, Lin Qianqian chimed in. The next moment, Daiheoan revealed the wound on his chest. With one look, everyone found that the wound was very deep and was caused recently. Only then did they believe Di Xiaofeng's words. In the next moment, Di Xiaofeng and Di Beichen looked at each other. They knew very well in their hearts that just this statement alone was obviously not enough to make everyone believe it. I also understand that this alone is not enough to make everyone believe me. Di Xiaofeng looked at the crowd. However, I don't want everyone to be fooled by Jun Lingxuan. All the immortal herbs are on him. I am now willing to let everyone check the storage rings of the cultivators in our group. I can guarantee that as long as you find any stock of immortal herbs, then this item will be yours. Following Di Xiaofeng's words, everyone's faces were filled with shock. Clearly, no one had expected him to make such a decision. Storage rings, that was something that no one was willing to let others see. Chapter 4962. Not only Di Xiaofeng, but the cultivators from the Di family and Lin family were also shocked after hearing Di Xiaofeng's decision. Others didn't know that Di Xiaofeng was lying, but they knew very well. The immortal spirit grass was on them. Once someone checked their storage ring, they would definitely be found out. However, at this time, everyone could only keep quiet and didn't know what Di Xiaofeng was planning. Only Di Beichen, Bailey Hongzhuang, Ao Lingxiao, and Mo Yinjue were very calm. They knew about the existence of the primal chaos ring. This thing was obviously something that no one else could find out. Lord Di, are you really going to do this? Qiu Baixin couldn't help but ask. This method was too shocking. However, Di Xiaofeng nodded without hesitation. I'm open and aboveboard. What's there to hide? At this time, another person asked, Lord Di, could it be that you knew that Jun Lingxuan would expose this matter, so you already hid the immortal spirit grass? However, without waiting for Di Xiaofeng to answer, Qiu Baixin had already explained. You can rest assured about this. Before this, they didn't even know that the news of the immortal spirit grass had been spread. They only found out after I told them. In such a short time, even if they wanted to hide the immortal spirit grass, they wouldn't be able to do it. Qiu Baixin's expression was serious. He had been with the Di family and Lin family for a few days now. In these few days, through the other party's behavior, he could confirm that they really didn't know. Otherwise, they wouldn't have acted like this. He was still confident about this. The Cloud Sky sect was considered a big power in the sect. Qiu Baixin was also one of the more famous people. Adding on the fact that the Cloud Sky sect usually didn't have much interaction with the Di family and Lin family, everyone believed Qiu Baixin's words. Since Lord Qiu has already said so, we naturally won't doubt it. That's right. Although Jun Lingxuan spread the news, we can't tell if it's true or false. Moreover, compared to Jun Lingxuan's style, we trust Lord Di more. His actions in this alchemy competition were despised by everyone. In comparison, the Di family was more gentlemanly. Although everyone said they believed in Di Xiaofeng, they still checked everyone's storage rings one by one. While they were investigating, the cultivators from the Di family and the Lin family could not help but panic. They were worried that they would be discovered. Fortunately, they were not discovered until the end. Only then did everyone feel relieved. He really didn't. Qiu Baixin's expression was complicated. Looks like we were all fooled by Jun Lingxuan. In his opinion, during this period of time, it was impossible for anyone to do anything. In addition, Di Xiaofeng and the others had always been very calm, and no one could find any fault with them, so he believed them. Moreover, the injuries on Daiheoan's body could not be faked. Everything could be linked together. I didn't expect this Jun Lingxuan to be so evil. He tricked all of us. The Jun family is usually very good at tricking others. Didn't the Di family also fall for their tricks? Everyone looked at each other and began to discuss. thousands of thoughts ran through their minds. They only hated that they didn't follow Jun Lingxuan and were tricked by them. Once they lie, their light energy will be affected. Actually, I'm not too sure about this. Lin Qianqian spread out her hands. The only thing I can be sure of is that with Xiao Sou's guarantee, everyone will most likely believe her more. I've overlooked this point. I didn't expect Xiao Sou to do this for Jun Lingxuan. It seems that Xiao Sou is now sincere towards Jun Lingxuan. Di Xiaofeng's face was filled with emotion. Since the last time he saw Xiao Sou, he had already noticed that the relationship between the two was not ordinary. Chapter 49-64. In an instant, everyone was perplexed by this question. However, at this moment, Bailey Hongzhuang suddenly stepped forward. What's the big deal? Bailey Hongzhuang's expression was calm. Xiao Sou is of the light attribute and so am I can vouch for you and prove that what we've said is true. As Bailey Hongzhuang's voice fell, the eyes of everyone present fell on her. In the next moment, a pure white light emitted from Bailey Hongzhuang's body. Her already elegant and refined features looked even more elegant and otherworldly under this pure white light. She was like a fairy from the 9 heavens, like a celestial immortal in a painting, causing everyone to hold their breaths. The crowd stared blankly at Bailey Hongzhuang. Their eyes were dazed. This version of her was simply too mesmerizing. All this while, Bailey Hongzhuang's magnificent beauty was something that no one could overlook. However, at this moment, her beauty had an additional sense of emptiness, causing everyone's hearts to tremble. Any man who saw such a beauty would be tempted. However, at this moment, the fairy-like Bailey Hongzhuang gave everyone the feeling that she had emerged from the mud but was unsullied. She could only be admired from afar and could not be touched. Not only was there not a single stray thought in the crowd's hearts, on the contrary, there was only a pure yearning. I swear on my status as a cultivator of the light attribute that Jun Lingxuan has kidnapped Dai Heoan and taken the immortal spiritual herb from us. He is absolutely not lying. Bailey Hongzhuang's expression was solemn and respectful. Her clear and bright eyes were filled with seriousness as she stared openly at everyone without hiding anything. If the crowd had been suspicious of the Di family before this, after seeing Bailey Hongzhuang's actions, their suspicions slowly dissipated. I never thought that Lady Bailey would also be a cultivator of the light attribute. Have you noticed that the light energy emitted from Miss Bailey's body seems to be purer than Xiao Sou's light energy? One of the cultivators had a look of surprise on his face. When Xiao Sou used the power of light, he happened to be beside her, so he could feel it very clearly. Logically speaking, as the saint of light, Xiao Sou's light energy should be the purest. However, he clearly felt that Bailey Hongzhuang's power was even purer, giving him an indescribable feeling. I have the same feeling. Why is this happening? This is too magical. I thought I was the only one who had this feeling. If Miss Bailey's power of light is even purer than the holy maidens, this news would be too shocking. For a moment, everyone's conversation even deviated from the main point. They were all amazed at the purity of Bailey Hongzhuang's power. Regarding this, Bailey Hongzhuang was very calm. According to her judgment, her talent was originally higher than Xiao Sou's. Chapter 49-65. Following Bailey Hongzhuang's actions, everyone began to believe in Bailey Hongzhuang. After all, the Di family's explanation was more convincing. In addition, Bailey Hongzhuang's light energy was purer than Xiao Sou's, so naturally, no one doubted her anymore. In my opinion, Jun Lingxuan guessed that this news might be spread by the Di family, so he made the first move and pushed all the blame onto them. That's right. The Jun family and the D family have always been mortal enemies. In addition, the strength of the Jun family's team is not as good as theirs. Using our hands to help them eliminate the D family and the Lin family's teams, it's really a good plan, tsk. In an instant, everyone understood everything. When you start to have doubts, you will feel that everything is suspicious. In addition, there is a group of people who have the same thoughts as you, so the effect is obvious. Seeing this scene, Bailey Hongzhuang and the others looked at each other, and a smile appeared in their eyes. Although Jun Lingxuan did have the advantage, as long as they speed up, it's hard to say who will be the unlucky one in the end. Young Master Qiu, do you know where Jun Lingxuan is now? Di Xiaofeng walked to Qiu Baixin's side and asked. I saw them go in that direction before, but I'm not too sure where they are now. Qiu Baixin frowned and his eyes flashed with thoughts. In my opinion, as long as we go in that direction, we should be able to get news of them. Hearing this, Di Xiaofeng nodded and handed a storage ring to Qiu Baixin. Qiu Baixin looked at Di Xiaofeng in surprise. Di Xiaofeng then said, Young Master Qiu, we are indeed innocent in this matter. It's just that Jun Lingxuan wants to use other people to get rid of us. Now that most people have confirmed this news, it's obviously difficult to explain with just the few of us. I hope that young Master Qiu can help us. Qiu Baixin immediately understood, and a smile appeared on his face. If it was before, he wouldn't have chosen to help, but now he believed in Di Xiaofeng. Plus, there were many benefits in the storage ring, so he naturally agreed. Young Master Di, don't worry. You were wronged by Jun Lingxuan. Even if you don't say it, I will tell the truth. After all, I can't just watch everyone be deceived by the Jun family. Although Qiu Baixin's words were filled with righteousness, the speed at which he received the storage ring was also extremely fast. Seeing this, the smile on Di Xiaofeng's face brightened. Thank you, young Master Qiu. After everyone chose to believe him, Di Xiaofeng said to everyone, we still have to find Jun Lingxuan and the others, so we'll be leaving first. If you want to go, you can go with us. Young Master Di, you guys go ahead first. We'll go later. Everyone smiled. They didn't have any relationship with the Di family and the Lin family, so they naturally wouldn't choose to go with them at this time. Di Xiaofeng had already expected this. After bowing, he led everyone away. Chapter 49-66. Lin Qianqian thought Di Xiaofeng was just pretending and didn't expect him to make such a decision. It was completely beyond her expectations. If we didn't react quickly, we would have been exposed. The disciples couldn't help but sigh. Even thinking back, they felt that it was too dangerous just now. Once they were exposed, everything would be troublesome. I also came up with this idea on the spur of the moment, but isn't the effect very good? Di Xiaofeng chuckled. His handsome face was filled with a warm smile as if everything was under his control. By the way, where did you hide the immortal spirit herb? Why didn't we find it just now? Lin Taxing's black eyes were filled with astonishment. After Daiheoan's storage ring was snatched away by Jun Lingxuan, Di Xiaofeng collected all the immortal spirit herbs on everyone's bodies. He didn't see Di Xiaofeng put it anywhere else, so how could it disappear? I hid it. Di Xiaofeng smiled mysteriously. Don't worry, it won't be lost. Seeing this, Lin Taxing's eyes flashed with surprise, but he didn't ask any more questions. It didn't matter as long as it wasn't lost. Speaking of which, it was all thanks to Hongzhuang's cleverness. Otherwise, no matter how good our performance was, we might have been defeated by Xiao Sou in the end. Lin Qianqian narrowed her eyes and her white jade-like face was filled with disgust. I've never seen Xiao Sou go all out to help others before. She really didn't hold back when dealing with us. She's really amazing. As soon as she said this, everyone's expression was the same. Now, Xiao Shou was as disgusting as Jun Lingxuan in their eyes. By the way, Xiaofeng. Dai Haoan looked at Di Xiaofeng. Do you think Qiu Baixin will speak up for us? I don't know. Di Xiaofeng shrugged. You don't know. Dai Haoan was stunned. Then why did you? It doesn't matter if he'll help us or not. As long as he spreads the seeds of doubt, that's enough. Di Xiaofeng's face was full of confidence. Everyone already has doubts about this kind of thing. Qiu Baixin doesn't have any relationship with us, but he said this kind of information. It's the easiest way to convince others. As long as everyone has doubts, it will be easy to overturn Jun Lingxuan's words. Following Di Xiaofeng's words, all the disciples' eyes were filled with relief and relief. In the previous situation, everyone couldn't help but be nervous. They were worried that everyone would gang up on them, but now that Di Xiaofeng said this, everyone was relieved. At the very least, the situation had improved a lot. It's best if we can find the other cultivators in the clan as soon as possible. Di Baichen's deep eyes were filled with worry. Now that this news has spread, once the family's disciples are left alone, it is very likely that they will encounter trouble. Indeed. Lin Taxing couldn't help but worry. We must find them as soon as possible. I really want to kill Jun Lingxuan. This guy is really too hateful. After discussing for a while, everyone continued to move forward in the direction of Jun Lingxuan. In the current situation, they weren't afraid for the time being. 3 days later, a team appeared in everyone's sight. After seeing the other party, Di Xiaofeng's eyes lit up. He smiled and said, Murong. Chapter 49-67. I've finally met you. Murong Jing quickly walked to Di Xiaofeng's side, the joy on his face turned into nervousness and worry. Jun Lingxuan is spreading rumors everywhere, do you know about it? Di Xiaofeng nodded slightly, his magnetic voice heavy, I already know. You know, but you still dare to come here so unscrupulously? Murong Jing was a little surprised, his slightly fast speed revealed his anxiousness. The rumors are extremely unfavorable to you. I've found many teams looking for you on my way here. The temptation of treasures like the immortal spirit grass is too great, now you've become a delicious cake in everyone's eyes, everyone wants a bite. Looking at Murong Jing's worried and nervous appearance, a trace of warmth appeared in the eyes of the Di family. Murong Jing and Di Xiaofeng's relationship was really extraordinary. Even when he heard about treasures like the immortal spirit grass, it didn't attract him at all. I've already seen a few teams before, but I've also explained. They believed it. Murong Jing was puzzled. Logically speaking, at this time, no matter what Di Xiaofeng and the others said, it should be useless. Hong Zhuang used the power of light, plus we let them check the storage rings. Hearing this, Murong Jing understood and immediately let out a sigh of relief. I see, you guys are really brave, but as long as people start to believe you, that's a good thing. What did you find out? Tell me in detail. Along the way, although they had met some people, no one had told them the specific situation. Di Xiaofeng and the others were helpless about this. Now that they met Murong Jing, it was undoubtedly the best opportunity to understand. Murong Jing naturally didn't hide anything, and immediately explained the situation in detail. The Jun family, Xiao family, and Nangong family have already joined forces, they even joined forces with the Chu family. The cultivators of these 4 families added together are already quite a number. Now they've unified their statements and confirmed that the immortal spirit grass is with you, and they're also intentionally looking for you. Once they find you, you'll understand. Jun Lingxuan really has a good idea. Di Xiaofeng coldly snorted, does he think that by joining forces with others, he can defeat us? In my opinion, Jun Lingxuan must have promised them a lot of benefits. Lin Taxing's face was gloomy, this guy likes to use some dirty tricks the most. Not only that, I also heard that they're now looking everywhere for the disciples of your two families. I'm afraid they want to use them to force you guys. As Murong Jing's voice fell, everyone's face. Regarding this point, Murong Jing's faces, the Nangong family's name, the Nangong family. Nangong Yuqing and the others aren't good people. Just let them die in the ruins. No matter what, we can't let their plan succeed this time. I have to kill these guys. Xiaofeng. Everyone's eyes turned red from anger. Their faces were filled with anger that could topple mountains and overturn seas. The raging anger accumulated in their chests seemed to be able to incinerate everything. Chapter 49-68. After some discussion, everyone came to a decision. Jun Lingxuan and the others are just ahead. I came here specifically to find you. Murong Jing's handsome eyes were full of concern. I know there's a relatively hidden shelter nearby. Why don't you stay there for the time being and we'll help you gather some information first. After we figure out the situation, you can think of a way to act. How about it? Murong Jing paused, then emphasized, it's too dangerous to act rashly now. Okay. Di Xiaofeng nodded, his dark blue eyes filled with a trace of haze and seriousness. Don't worry, I'll figure out their numbers. No matter what, I'm on your side. Murong Jing reached out and hammered Di Xiaofeng's chest, his handsome and gentle face filled with determination and trust. The situation is so unfavorable to us now and you still want to stand on our side? Di Xiaofeng couldn't help but ask. In this situation, many people would probably want to keep a distance from them. Ever since their relationship with the Xiao family was bad, he had experienced many things like this. Stinking brat. Murong Jing couldn't help but curse, are you looking down on yourself or me? I'm still hoping that you can help me when I'm in trouble. What's the point of saying all this now? Anyway, you're my brother. Whoever dares to touch you is touching me. There's no room for discussion. Di Xiaofeng looked deeply at Murong Jing, and time seemed to stop just like that. A warm smile that was like a spring breeze slowly blossomed on the corners of his lips, making his already picturesque handsome face even more outstanding and enchanting. Hey, why are you looking at me like that? Murong Jing glanced at him, I like women. Hearing Murong Jing's words, Lin Qianqian and the others couldn't help but chuckle, diluting the originally mushy but friendly atmosphere a bit. Don't worry, I'm not interested in men either. Di Xiaofeng rolled his eyes and kicked Murong Jing, hurry up and lead the way. The cultivators of the Murong family also had joyful smiles on their faces. They also knew about the relationship between Di Xiaofeng and Murong Jing. No matter what decision the young master made, they would support him. Under Murong Jing's lead, Bailey Hongzhuang's group arrived at a very secluded cave. The entrance to the cave was very small, but after entering, the area was surprisingly large. This is a cave that I found a few days ago. There shouldn't be anyone else who has found it yet. You guys can rest here for the time being. We'll go out and ask around. Murong Jing's expression was calm, I will first go and understand their numbers and strength. If there is a gap, I will think of a way to find a few more helpers. Under such circumstances, you must have the ability to resist. All right. Murong Jing immediately led the group of people and left without further ado. At the same time, Bailey Hongzhuang and the others were also cultivating in the cave, adjusting themselves to the best condition. Because it wasn't far from where Jun Lingxuan and the others were, it only took Murong Jing half a day to return. However, when he returned, his expression was extremely ugly. What bad news? Emperor Xiaofeng immediately stood up, his voice filled with nervousness. In fact, if it were him, he would have made the same choice. Since you've decided, let's go together tomorrow. On the other side. Xiren and Shangguan Yingying were hurrying on their way. Both of their faces were filled with anger. Chapter 49-70. As brothers for so many years, Xiren knew how important he was in Di Beichen's heart. They were both people who would risk their lives for each other. Even if he were in Di Beichen's shoes, he would definitely rush over regardless of his own safety. Therefore, he knew that Di Beichen would definitely go over. Our luck is really. Shangguan Yingying sighed. We've been searching for so long, but we still haven't found Beichen and the others. I'm really speechless. Don't worry. Since Jun Lingxuan said so, Beichen and the others should be nearby. As long as we show up there tomorrow, we should be able to find Beichen and the others. Xiren's eyes were filled with wisdom. After thinking for a while, he had already figured out the crux of the matter. However, we can't be too obvious right now. At least, we can't be discovered by Jun Lingxuan and the others. Shangguan Yingying nodded slightly. Then let's think of a way to conceal ourselves. Although everyone judges people based on their auras, we've always kept a low profile. There shouldn't be many people who can recognize our auras, right? Let's not get too close for now. Let's just walk around. Maybe we can find Beichen and the others. The next day, the noon sun was the strongest. It shone on the ground with heat. Cultivators from the Jun family, the Shao family, the Nangong family, and the Chu family were gathered here. In their hands were Dijai's and 2 other cultivators from the Lin family. It's already noon, and the Di family still hasn't shown up. It seems that they're determined to be cowards. Jun Lingxuan's lips curled into a mocking smile. However, his eyes were filled with coldness and unwillingness. He had thought of so many ways to lure Di Beichen and the others over. However, he didn't expect that the Di family still hadn't shown up. He was extremely unhappy. Ever since he came out of the abyss, he had been thinking about how to take revenge. Previously, he had lost so miserably at the hands of Di Beichen and the others, which made him extremely unhappy. Plus, those immortal herbs were supposed to be in his hands. But now, most of them were in the hands of the Di family and the Lin clan. Naturally, he wasn't willing to accept this. Once the cultivators of the Di family brought the immortal spiritual grass back to their family, the strength of their family members would increase by a whole level. This was not something he wanted to see. Therefore, he thought for a long time before coming up with this excellent idea. Xiao Sou's expression was extremely complicated after seeing this situation. In fact, when she first heard Jun Lingxuan's suggestion, she was somewhat resistant. After all, she was the next holy maiden of the light. Just based on her identity, she shouldn't be involved in such a bloody matter. It would greatly affect her image. However, Jun Lingxuan was the person she liked, not to mention that Jun Lingxuan had saved her. At this time, if she didn't help, it wouldn't be right. Most importantly, she understood that once the cultivators of the Di family increased in strength, they would definitely think of ways to suppress the Jun family. Of course, she didn't want to see that happen. Therefore, the only way was to completely suppress the Di family and the Lin clan now. As long as Di Xiaofeng and Di Beichen died, the Di family and the Lin clan would definitely suffer a heavy blow. In the future, the Shao family and the Jun family would have a much higher chance of success if they worked together. The displeasure in Chu Yingming's eyes became more and more intense, and his voice became a bit colder. The Chu clan was also an extremely powerful existence in the group that had come this time. Even in normal times, Jun Lingxuan was extremely polite to Chu Yingming. Moreover, he was very clear that if he didn't rope in Chu Yingming now, then even if the three great families joined forces, they still wouldn't be a match for the D family. They won't, Jun Lingxuan said with certainty. I can guarantee that they will soon receive the news. Chapter 4972. The cultivator from the D family hasn't shown up yet. I'm afraid he won't show up today. I just wanted to watch a good show today and find out if the immortal spiritual grass really exists. I didn't think that I'd end up with nothing. How disappointing. The way I see it, the D family probably thinks that this is the Jun family's scheme. Once they show up, they'll fall into an ambush. It's normal that they don't show up. The surrounding groups couldn't help but discuss after seeing this. As time passed, the discussion became more and more heated. In the next moment, Jun Lingxuan directly grabbed Dijai's and brought him over. At this moment, Dijai's no longer had his usual high-spirited appearance. At this moment, he was battered and exhausted. His hands were tied behind his back by Jun Lingxuan. His face was pale and he looked weak. It was obvious that he had been severely tortured by Jun Lingxuan and the others. Noticing Dijai's current state, everyone's expression changed. They didn't think that Jun Lingxuan was telling the truth. He really did capture a cultivator from the D family. Most importantly, Dijai's wasn't an ordinary member of the D family. It was said that he had a high chance of becoming the D family's young master. Even now that Di Beichen has returned, Dijai's status was still higher than that of an ordinary member. Now that he's fallen into Jun Lingxuan's hands, he's in such a miserable state. It really made people sigh. Everyone says that the D family values friendship. In my opinion, that's a joke. Jun Lingxuan's eyes were full of mockery. His cold gaze fell upon Dijai's and he smiled. Dijai's, you've always been so arrogant in front of me. Now, I'd like to see how you're going to act tough. Hearing this, Dijai's raised his eyes and coldly glared at Jun Lingxuan. His cold, unwavering gaze was filled with determination and unyielding. Even more so, there was a deep sense of disgust. It's still better than a despicable person like you. If you hadn't colluded with them, you'd be dreaming if you thought you could catch me. Dijai's gritted his teeth. All of this made him feel humiliated. He had actually fallen into the hands of the person he despised the most. Bang! Jun Lingxuan unceremoniously threw a punch at Dijai's. Dijai's face immediately turned to the side. Upon closer inspection, one would discover that blood was flowing out from the corner of his lips. So what? At the very least, you're in my hands now, and your life is in my hands. Jun Lingxuan, don't go too far. At this moment, a member of the D family couldn't help but roar angrily. Nangong Yuqing couldn't help but chuckle when he saw this. Di Fanhao, you're already at death's door, yet you're still talking about brotherly love. Why don't you die in his place today? Anyway, you're just going to explore the underground first. He'll come to accompany you tomorrow. What do you think? As he spoke, Nangong Yuqing reached out and slapped Di Fanhao's face. Each slap was like a slap to the face, making a loud sound. At the same time, everyone noticed that Di Fanhao's face was rapidly swelling up. Fine, I'll die in his place. Di Fanhao didn't hesitate. Look at the smug faces of despicable people like you. It's disgusting just to look at them. Oh, you're quite something. Nangong Yuqing chuckled, but there was no trace of a smile in his eyes. Do you believe that I'll kill you? As soon as he finished speaking, Nangong Yuqing kicked Di Fanhao in the stomach. However, at this moment, a sonorous and powerful voice suddenly rang out. Chapter 4973. As this voice rang out, everyone's gaze followed the source of the voice. Immediately after, a group of people slowly appeared in everyone's line of sight. At first glance, everyone saw Di Xiaofeng and Di Beichen walking at the front. These two were undoubtedly the representatives of the Lin family and the Di family. They were the most important people. Because of their outstanding appearances, they were the most eye-catching existences no matter where they went. The Di family's people are finally here. I didn't expect them to actually dare to come even though they knew that this was a tiger's den. If you ask me, it's a good thing that they came. If they didn't come, they would never be able to wash away their reputation as cowards. Everyone's eyes lit up. They had been waiting to see a good show. If the Di family and Lin family's cultivators didn't appear, then they would have waited in vain. After Di Zhai's and the others saw Di Xiaofeng's group appear, their eyes flashed with a trace of excitement. However, after the excitement, there was a trace of sadness. After all, they were all disciples of the same family. However, because of themselves, they dragged their family members down. Naturally, they felt guilty. "Oh, you guys finally appeared." Jun Lingxuan chuckled, but his eyes were cold. "I thought you guys didn't dare to come." Chu Yingming's originally cold face also softened a bit. Even the cold arc on his face softened a lot. There was a faint smile between his eyebrows. "Chu Yingming, you can rest assured now." Nangong Yuqing glanced at Chu Yingming and lowered his voice. The corner of Chu Yingming's lips rose slightly. This kind of thing shouldn't be wasted too much time. It's best to solve it as soon as possible. Looking at Chu Yingming's confident appearance, Nangong Yuqing quietly shook his head. After knowing Chu Yingming for so many years, he always felt helpless against Chu Yingming's temperament. This guy never seemed to have anything worth wasting his time on. No matter who it was, a treasure like the immortal spiritual grass was extremely precious. Even if he had to spend more time on it, it was still worth it. However, in Chu Yingming's eyes, he didn't think so. "Jun Lingxuan, you think too highly of yourself." Di Beichen's voice was cold and indifferent. "A mere guy who was chased by us dares to talk nonsense. Don't you think you're ridiculous?" Facing Di Beichen's undisguised ridicule, Jun Lingxuan couldn't help but recall the 2 times he met Di Beichen's situation. He had to admit, it was a bit embarrassing. Of course, he couldn't admit it in front of everyone's eyes. Di Beichen, Nangong of Uf's words. Jun Lingxuan shouted coldly, "In short, from the moment you stole our immortal spiritual grass, you were destined to pay the price. Of the D of you of D of Li, of the of immortal of them of the of this of them. Open your eyes and look carefully. Your family's cultivators are in our hands." Nangong Yuqing's voice rang out. "I'll give you a chance. As long as you kill yourself now, we'll leave your corpses intact." "Huh, you're dreaming." Lin Taxing rolled his eyes. "Nangong Yuqing, you've become more and more stupid after staying with Jun Lingxuan for so long. What nonsense are you talking about?" Chapter 49-74. Lin Taxing spared no effort in ridiculing Nangong Yuqing. In the past, he had never had any conflicts with Nangong Yuqing, so he had never taken this matter to heart. Now that they had become enemies, he naturally did not hold back. In fact, he felt that he had been enduring this phase for a long time over the years. "Lin Taxing, you're courting death." Nangong Yuqing's anger surged. His already ugly face turned ferocious, making him look like a monster. "You should know that the lives of your clansmen are in our hands." "Jun Lingxuan, where are Xiren and Yingying now?" Di Beichen's handsome eyes narrowed. His gaze was cold and sharp. "Naturally, they're in my hands." Jun Lingxuan raised his eyebrows. "If you kneel down and beg me now, maybe I'll tell you when I'm in a good mood." "In your dreams." Di Beichen's expression was ice cold. I think you won't shed a tear until you see the coffin. Jun Lingxuan's eyes flashed with a trace of resentment. Ever since Jun Zitao had fallen, he had made up his mind to make Di Beichen and the others pay for Jun Zitao's death no matter what. Therefore, he had come up with the best idea. Everyone already knows that the immortal spiritual herb is in the hands of the Di family and the Lin family. As long as we kill them, the immortal spiritual herb will belong to whoever gets it. Jun Lingxuan's voice was loud and clear, instantly attracting everyone's attention. However, as soon as he finished speaking, Di Beichen and the others clearly felt the breathing of the surrounding cultivators quicken. Their gazes also became more intense. The immortal spiritual herb was a treasure that was enough to make a group of cultivators go crazy. No one could resist the attraction of the immortal spiritual herb. After noticing the changes in the crowd, Jun Lingxuan's eyes flashed with a trace of pride. As long as he could kill the cultivators from the Di family and the Lin family, he would undoubtedly remove the obstacles to the rise of the Jun family. Furthermore, he had already obtained a portion of the immortal spirit herbs. Now that he had obtained another portion, he was definitely the biggest winner. However, after sensing everyone's restlessness, Di Xiaofeng's voice rang out. I know that everyone has heard Jun Lingxuan's slanderous words, but I think we can't just listen to one person's side of the story. I hope that everyone can give me some time to explain. Di Xiaofeng's expression was calm. He didn't feel the slightest bit of nervousness or panic because of everyone's change. On the contrary, his calmness and indifference made everyone's anxious hearts slow down a bit. Di Xiaofeng, are you still going to quibble at a time like this? Xiao Sou couldn't help but ask. She was also very clear about the truth of this matter. Although Jun Lingxuan had obtained a portion of the immortal herbs, the Di family still had more immortal herbs. I'm quibbling. Di Xiaofeng chuckled. The disgust in his eyes became even more obvious. Along the way, you've splashed countless dirty water on us. Now, you want to borrow everyone's hands to destroy us. However, we won't let your plan succeed. That's right. You've lied to us time and time again. We won't let you play with us like this. It was clearly you who snatched the immortal spiritual herbs. Now, you're pushing all the blame onto us. What a good plan. Chapter 49-75. When the crowd saw that the Di family and the Jun family were confronting each other, they were not in a hurry to make a move. The news did come from Jun Lingxuan's mouth, but they didn't really know what the situation was. Di Xiaofeng, it's useless no matter how you explain it now. The immortal spiritual herb is in your hands, unless you hand it over obediently now. Jun Lingxuan's expression was indifferent and the corners of his lips were curled up in a complacent manner, as if he had already had a card up his sleeve. Jun Lingxuan, who do you think you are? Do you think you can say whatever you want? Di Xiaofeng's eyes were filled with mockery. The immortal spiritual herb has clearly been snatched away by you using despicable means, and now you're blaming us for it. Do you really think you can take advantage of us and pretend to be innocent? I've already guessed that you would say this, but it's useless no matter what you say. Jun Lingxuan's handsome face did not show the slightest bit of panic. Instead, he said to the other cultivators, everything we've said is true. Furthermore, Miss Xiao has already used her actions to prove it very clearly. Do you still have any doubts? As soon as he said this, everyone's eyes fell on the Di family once again. They no longer considered this and were thinking about when to make a move later so that they could obtain the best benefits. However, right at this moment, a resounding voice that was filled with ridicule suddenly rang out. Jun Lingxuan, you really don't know when to lie. A man in a blue brocade robe and a woman in a yellow dress slowly appeared in front of everyone's eyes. You keep saying that you're telling the truth, but didn't you just say that we're in your hands? Why didn't I know about it? Following the appearance of these two figures, Bailey Hongzhuang and Di Beichen's faces were filled with joy and relief. Isn't this Xiren and Shangguan Yingying? Lin Taxing's face was filled with joy and he turned to look at Jun Lingxuan. Didn't you say that they're in your hands? Now, it seems like that's not the case. Seeing this, Jun Lingxuan's expression also changed as he looked at this scene in astonishment. Previously, he had only casually mentioned it to increase the panic in the hearts of the Di family. However, he did not expect that Xiren and Wen Xinya would appear at this time and disrupt his plan. Chu Yingming frowned as he glanced at Jun Lingxuan. He thought to himself, unable to accomplish anything, but good at spoiling things. Indeed, this face slapping was really too fast. Just a second ago, he said that everything was the truth, but in the next second, he was exposed. Xiao Sou's expression also became extremely awkward. This was using her name as the Saint of the Light, and now that it was exposed, it would affect her reputation. Nangong Yuqing couldn't help but stare blankly. This sudden change really made his face hurt. Xiren, Yingying. Bailey Hongzhuang looked at the rapidly approaching Wen Xiren and Wen Xinya, and a joyful and excited smile appeared on her elegant face. Great, so you're here. Hongzhuang, we didn't meet you on our way here. I didn't expect that Jun Lingxuan would use your name to threaten you. It made me so anxious. Shangguan Yingying took Bailey Hongzhuang's hand. This guy has always been full of lies. You can't believe his words. As long as you're all right, we're relieved. Bailey Hongzhuang smiled. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.